So yeah, I finally made a video regarding the Q&A that you guys have sent in, and luckily enough, I got like enough ask, and so I finally, be able to make it. So the first question is, what's your favorite kind of tea, and how do you take it? My favorite kind of tea would be Lapsang Souchong. For people who don't know what kind of tea it is, it's just basically the black tea, and the taste I would describe it would be kind of like liquid smoky campfire, and I generally take it in black, almost like all the other tea I like. I'm just generally not a huge fan of like taking tea with like either milk with sugar and stuff. I just like plain black. And yeah. And the second question I have is regarding of where do I shop and you know um, pricing and stuff. I actually got two people asking me regarding of that, so I'm just kind of like grouping it together and making it just one big question. So I generally shop like between like cheap to like kind of like medium high priced stuff, which usually I'm kind of rare of my expensive things, but if I do tend to pick something that is like really unique and something that you can't really find in places like H&M and stuff. But most of my basic that I usually wear, like black t-shirt and other things, I do shop in H&M, and I do like to go on like vintage clothing store, which in Toronto there's a couple of them that are my favorite. Like there's a place called Courage My Love and Exile. Um, Both of them are in a place called a little area called Kensington Market, and also there's a secondhand like place is called Black Market. They do sell a lot of like cheap like silkscreen T-shirt. They sell it like free for 25 or something like that. And I usually modify it into crop tops. And I do shop in Forever 21, which is a little bit tricky for me because I am really petite and tiny, and most of the time I don't really cater about for my body type. Um, for like a little bit medium higher price, I do shop at Urban Outfitter, but I like to prefer going on their sale rack because I think their prices is a little bit too expensive for the quality of the clothing they make, and it's just not worth it. So uh, I do prefer to shop the clothes when it's like cheap and on sale. And I shop most of my jeans and pants. I shop in Topshop because they have a petite section, which it's hard for me to find pants when I'm like only 5 feet tall. And yeah, and Zara, which is kind of really rare, and again because they don't really cater for my body type and sizing. And for a little bit on the higher end, I shop at Aritzia, which most of their clothes, the cutting it fits my body perfectly. Um, and then I do own a few clothing from Aussies, which clients work for them. So I get a little bit of privilege from it, and occasionally I would get stuff from this place called Hudson Bay in Canada, which they sell like designers things, which is really really rare because as I said, designer stuff is super expensive. Um, so yeah, and the third question is, do you ever plan to open your own tattoo shop? What are your career goals in the next 5 years? I would say like eventually in the future, probably like not until like 10 or 15 years later. I'm still pretty new in this industry, so I don't really think that far ahead of time. But for the next 5 years, I was thinking about like traveling and doing guest spotting, just to kind of, knowing more people in the community and kind of, building connection and kind of make the world knows that hey, I'm here, I do tattoos and so on. And And then the next question is regarding the relationship between me and Clint. Of if I ever get jealous of him sleeping with other people, and if I'm the only one who's allowed because I'm a girl. First of all, I consider myself as non-binary. Although I look like female, my biological gender is female. I do not consider myself as a girl or a boy. I'm pretty much in between. Um, so, and also gender doesn't really play the role in our relationship at all. It shouldn't be. It's just something that like any other like just in relationship in general it shouldn't be. And that's also we're polyamorous, and that's not how it works. And polyamorous is based on like communication and honesty, and obviously we do have conversation discussion regarding you know our relationship, so everybody's on the same page. um, and for both of us, we don't really seek out to sleeping with people or like to date people. We are pretty much goes with the flow. We are really picky in general. So it's a pretty rare thing for us to find people to sleep with most of the time. um, so I think in conclusion we just basically like to goes with the flow, to be honest. um, and yeah, and that concludes that. I don't get jealous. Like, I don't really care as long as like our relationship is still honest together with each other, and goes it's all about goes with the flow, and it's all about like everybody to get on the same page. Yeah. And the next question is, what was my favorite piercing or body mod? I would say my favorite body mod would be my pointed ears, and it's, people who haven't seen it yet, it's right here. I got it when I was 19, and I got it done by a piercer called Afix Roy, and he's from Montreal, from Quebec, and I think he stopped doing kind of extreme body mod for a really long time now. So I'm just lucky enough to got it done like before he decided to retire in that area. And yeah, until now it's still my favorite because it's just kind of like I can hide it whenever I want, and people notice it. It just kind of it's just like a special thing for me. I'm really a big fan of Skyrim and Lord of the Rings, and so like being able to be an actual elf is pretty special to me. And then another question is regarding my hair, of how I maintain my hair and stuff. I don't really do much with my hair. I'm pretty much lazy. I'm a lazy person. I don't like to style my hair or anything. I just let it like dry naturally. Um, but usually what I would do is every time after I wash my hair, I put argan oil, um, probably around 2 or 3 drops, just kind of thoroughly running through, like, for my hair, just to keep it like moisturized, because my hair is definitely super dark, and having like this huge amount of bleach on my hair in order to obtain gray hair is pretty much damaging. So argan oil is pretty awesome, and it treats my hair really well. And I only wash my hair once or twice a week, so not a lot. Whenever my hair gets like a little bit too greasy, I tend to use like dry shampoo, just like spray on the area, especially my bangs. It gets pretty greasy throughout times. And for like shampoo, I use non-sulfate shampoo, so it doesn't really, so the chemical won't strip my hair color, or it won't damage my hair as much as like normal store, like pharmacy bought cheap shampoo. I use a company called Green Beavery. Its logo is like Toronto. I think it's Toronto based or Ontario based, and it's vegan. And it smells really nice. It just everything that's natural. So yeah, that's how I take care of my hair. And the next question is also regarding of my body mod and my tattoo. My favorite tattoo would be my black arm. Yeah, just like basically all black out. It's a cover up. I got a full sleeve when I was 18. It's basically this huge, colorful, neo-traditional theme like tattoo. It just everything's like art supply. You got an owl, you got like cute fennec fox and stuff like that. And as the year goes by, it just doesn't really fit my personality anymore. So I just decide to, just black it out, and it's just my favorite tattoo now ever since I started doing so. And my least favorite tattoo would be, I would say, my 16 years old tattoo, my first tattoo, which is I got it when I was 16, and now it's covered up with a huge Baphomet tattoo. It's almost like I would say like I drew it by myself. It's a nautical star, with kind of like a purple flower, almost like peony, but it's not really wrapped around it. It just kind of like silly and sort of like represent me and my family, my mother. I was trying to reconnect with my mother around that time, but things just not working out, to be honest. So it just kind of lost its meaning, and it's not something that I want to, be associated with every time I see it. So I got a cover up a few years later, and yeah, I'm kind of glad I did that, and now I'm pretty happy with like what I've got on my ribs. And this, I believe this is like my second last question, or yeah, this is gonna be my second last question. Is what's my favorite show as a child? Um, Even though I was born in Toronto, from my childhood, I grew up in Hong Kong. Because my parents are not, citizens in Canada. Um, and I got a privilege to watch all this like cool anime TV shows every day after school and stuff. Um, but my most favorite one is definitely the show called Doraemon. Uh, People who don't know, it's basically this blue like robot. It's from 21st century. He's supposed to be a cat, but by somehow like a mouse ate his ears, so he just kind of like have like the earless, kind of like a round faced robot, and he traveled through time, and he ended up being this like little kid's like house, and kind of guide him and you know teach him how to be a person. I It's sort of like that. It's definitely my favorite because it's just like he's got all these like really cool gadget and like helping this like the most whiny little boy ever to like solve a problem and stuff. It's just, I know, it's fun and quirky. So I would say that's my favorite show as a child. And my last question is, what would you do if you know that this is your last night on Earth? I probably wouldn't do anything like crazy or anything big. I probably would just like spending the last moment with like people that I consider as important. I would say Clint, and just having like a nice meal, or like even going to nature, just being having a really peaceful night before I'm leaving. I think that's like the most comfortable, I don't know, the most well thought out ending of my life. I've been super busy throughout my years. I've been nonstop, and having a piece of like peacefulness is definitely a bliss for me right now. So I'll consider that. Yeah, that's all the question I have for now. And if you guys have any more question you would like to ask, feel free to send it like anonymously or even just off and on. I don't mind answering it. It's pretty fun for me, even though I'm a person who's like really anxious. I get really nervous in front of camera and stuff. So this is nice for me to step out of my comfort zone and being able to actually like connect with you guys rather than just typing out words. It's more personal, I would say. So yeah, that's all.